Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. Today we have Dover coming out here for us first in the Xfinity Series, but we also are going to have a Cup Series hot seat coming up at Martinsville. I'm not sure what car we're going to get quite yet, but I can tell you that considering it's Martinsville, I'm definitely not going to put a whole lot of effort into that hot seat because Martinsville is probably the worst hot seat on the planet possible. So that's going to be a very fun one. But we start things off here in the Xfinity Series where I start P13 here at Dover International Speedway, Raceway, whatever it's called now, as it comes through out of turns 2 side by side there with the 51 of Jeremy Clements, starting to slowly close in on that point now where we have to really start thinking about the playoff picture. There's actually got sent up the inside of Chase, or from Chase Briscoe, as it came through now out of turns 4, heading down this front stretch to complete the opening lap of stage 1. But it was a bit of a struggle here as it came through to 2 to go in stage 1, still only running P16, but some contact there with Williams as I went down into turn 3. That allowed Justin Allgaier to my outside on the final lap of stage 1. Now as we were 3 wide on the exit of turns 2, and we send the 7 car spinning into the almost outside wall. He hangs off the wall, but then no, there was contact putting him into the wall, and that would end stage 1 already, as not a good stage 1 performance from myself, as I was looking like a clown out here. And I came into this race with a lot of confidence. We're coming off of some victories here in the Xfinity Series back in Bristol and Talladega, and we come here into Dover and run like absolute trash so far. We're actually looking for, I believe, what is 3 wins in a row here in the Xfinity Series, but looking like after stage 1, we're probably not going to be able to match that now as we come through to start the second stage here in Dover. Something about the car just wasn't right here, as I obviously used a preset setup for every race, and obviously sometimes it works fine where we go and win, like we did in Bristol. We won without a problem, but then we come to a track here like Dover, and you can see just how much I struggle now as we came through to lap 2 of 5 here in stage 2, going 3 wide in the middle there. Daniel Hemrick on my inside as we came through out of turns 4, a little bit of contact there with the 36 of I believe that's Alex LeBay, but then we came through to lap 3 of 5 here in stage 2, now up the inside of Jeremy Clements. I was up into P13 at this point as I went down into turns 1 with 2 laps to go here in stage 2, and then we get back into this little 3 wide action. Justin Allgaier on the final lap of stage 2 actually got up my inside as we come through out of turns 2. There's contact with Cindric, contact with Allgaier, but we hang on to it thankfully now as we dive down into turns 3 on the final lap here in stage 1. Not the first time this season or recently at all that we've had a bit of a moment with Austin Cindric as we came through to cross the line. P14 here in stage 2. So far an absolutely horrible effort to start the episode here in Dover, as it's Ryan Sieg who would win the second stage here in Dover. But now will we be restarting, unfortunately, on the outside lane here for the start of the third and final stage here from P14. Now as the green flag is back out, and once again we are underway here in Dover as we would get underway here for the start of the third and final stage. 13 laps to go to be exact as we dive down into turns 1, getting into the back just a little bit there of the watermelon boy of Ross Chastain as we come through out of turns 2, being on this outside such a disadvantage. So I get aggressive here, going 3 wide up the middle between Chastain and Clements, but I have to back out a bit as I dive down into turn 3. As now we came through on lap 18, back up the inside now of Ross Chastain as we come through out of turns 2, 3 wide with him and Clements. Thankfully though, it works out for us here as we go down the back straightaway, now diving up the inside of Daniel Hemrick and once again Jeremy Clements, but then I just can't really get the entrance of that corner now as we came through though out of turns 2 on lap 19. We clear Chastain, send it up the inside of Daniel Hemrick as we go down into turns 3, and then once again we just can't quite get that entrance in the center of the corner to work out very well for myself now as we come through out of turns 4, though putting the pressure at least on Hemrick as we dive to the inside here with 9 laps to go and try to get up into the 13th position as we come through turns 1 and 2, and Chastain hits me in the left rear, is going to force it 3 wide as we come through out of turns 4, contact with the 99, into the inside wall we go, and that's actually going to be our first ever DNF here in the Xfinity Series. And the first of our career in NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. Not what we wanted to have happen. I didn't show the finishing order because I got frustrated. I don't even know if it let me see the finishing order. But we would get a hot seat for the Cup Series here in the number 96 car for whatever the team is now as we came through to cross the line in qualifying. Actually had to turn the difficulty down to hard to even have a chance. Now, his 3-star car at Martinsville is a complete disaster, and I didn't, obviously, I like to do one, if it's a Cup Series race, I like to do one race per episode devoted to the Cup Series, but Martinsville is such a disaster when you're on a 3-star hot seat that I consider it just a throwaway, so I decided to just kind of implement this into the Cup Series episode, or into the Xfinity Series episode, sorry. So, obviously, if we get the top 35 goal here, this will be our last 3-star hot seat. So, the goal is, obviously, to get that top 35 and move on onto a 4-star car, which I believe our next chance would be at a track potentially like Michigan. But here we are running, of course, the 96 of Daniel Suarez's car on lap 1 of 35. I didn't even do stages because I hate the Martinsville hot seat so much with a passion since NASCAR Heat 3, and I'm sure many of you viewers do as well. You just know how bad it is. So yeah, I just decided to do 35 laps. It's such a tough hot seat now as we come through out of turns 2, although I was running P31 and I was blocking for my life. You can see we were actually okay through the corners, but on the straightaways, we were so far much slower than the AI. We had actually closed up on Timmy Hill, and I always came through the 22 laps to go here in Martinsville, just kind of holding my own in P31, 4 spots ahead of the goal. And like I said, I turned the difficulty down to hard, and you can still see I'm only beating my goal by 4 spots. And then Kevin Harvick, the leader now on lap 19, had started to close in on us, but then I kind of got caught off guard by Michael McDowell through turns 3 and at turns 4. He would try to clear me now as I came through out of turns 4, and you can just see the straight line struggle now as Timmy Hill drives away as they go down into turns 1. So I fade in behind McDowell, hold on to P32 now as we came through. McDowell had actually gotten past Timmy Hill as well, but we now had went a lap down at this point in the race to Kevin Harvick, now who was dominating this race so far now. Is obviously it's weird having Martinsville at this point in the season now as we dive down into turns 3. Usually I think this is our first hot seat of the season, but this time around second hot seat now as we come through out of turns 4. Daniel Suarez in the 96, actually, just behind me as we came through out of turns 2 now on lap 24 of 35. And I would have to throw a big block there on Daniel Suarez as we go down into turns 3. And Keselowski and Kurt Busch would both come around to get by me as they came through out of turn 4. And you can just see the speed difference down the front straightaway now as we came through 3 wide at this point here with 10 laps to go. Truex goes up my inside, then Boyer actually gets into the side of me. Kyle Busch on my outside. Somehow we get through that all without an issue, but certainly a little bit of a hiccup there now as we came through a few laps later on lap 29 of 35. 5 to go at this point now as we are a lap down as we dive down into turns 3. But then Matt Kenseth, he would go by here running in P8, surprisingly well for Matt Kenseth now as we were running P32, just hanging on over Daniel Suarez to make sure we get that top 35 goal, as we could give that spot up to Suarez if we really wanted to, and we would still beat the goal by 2 positions. So I wasn't too concerned at this point. We came through to start the final lap here in Martinsville as we dive down into turns 1 and 2 up the inside of Clint Boyer now as we come through out of turns 2 on this final lap here in Martinsville Speedway as we dive down into turn 3 just in front of Daniel Suarez as we come through now out of turns 4 up the inside of Timmy Hill. We're actually going to be able to take the spot from Timmy Hill at the line to get P31 here in Martinsville, which means we complete the top 35 goal, and the winner would be Kevin Harvick. So very good for us to beat that goal. Now we will have a 4-star hot seat in the future at what will likely be Michigan, I believe, as the next one. But now we're going to jump right into the final race of the episode here, the Xfinity Series in Charlotte. We had a somewhat decent qualifying effort here of P12. I was definitely confident in the car. You might have noticed in our DNF at Dover, there was no replay cameras in that race, and that's because when you DNF in the game, you do not get access to see the replay after that race. So that's something that's a little bit disappointing. I don't know, maybe if 704 can fix that now as we dive down into turn 3, already up inside the top 10. So I almost feel like if you ever see a video start out with no replay cameras, it's almost like a spoiler that we're going to DNF in that race. Now as we go 3 wide down the front straightaway there, Michael Annett on the far inside as I actually did scrape the wall a little bit there, coming through to cross the line there to get into the top 10. Now as we came through on the end of lap 2 to the outside of Annett as we head down this front straightaway, we would cross the line again, P9, and then we would run down this next group of cars on lap 3 of 4 in stage 1, going 3 wide with Ryan Sieg and Jeremy Clements down into turns 3, and immediately I could tell that we have some serious speed in this car here in Charlotte. Now there's a little bit of contact there with Ryan Sieg on the exit of turns 4, crossing the line to start the final lap now now of stage 1. We got up the inside of Clements again, down into turns 3 and out of turns 4, coming through to cross the line, or almost across the line. It was Austin Cindric winning stage 1. We come through to cross the line there in P7 here for the first stage in Charlotte. So definitely cannot be disappointed with that, but I knew for a fact at this point we had a car definitely capable of winning this race. We got 3 wins now in our rookie season so far in the Xfinity Series, including in the last episode 2 in a row from Bristol and Talladega back-to-back, and obviously earlier this season we won at Atlanta as our first victory. Now we look for win number 4 here in Charlotte now as we come through to start the second stage in Charlotte, just behind Noah Gragson. We're going to get aggressive here, make it 3 wide with him and our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate of Riley Herbst as we dive down into turns 1. So far, we are the only Joe Gibbs driver in the Xfinity field, or on the team at least in Xfinity, to get a win now as we came through on the end of lap 1, going 3 wide for the second position with Justin Haley and Chase Briscoe. We successfully complete that pass and set our sights now on the 22 of Cindric, who leaves the door wide open. So I come through turns 1 and 2 and snag the lead as we come through out of turns 2, heading down this back straightaway. Cindric tries to fight back but has absolutely nothing for us. Keep in mind, I did have the difficulty turned back up to legend at this point. It's just the AI were this easy apparently at Charlotte now as we came through out of turns 4. So we would drive away here in stage 2, not as much as I thought we would. We came through out of turns 4 now on the final lap of the second stage, and we're going to be able to pick up another playoff point as we come through to cross the line. And I knew right off the bat now at this point that if we don't make a big mistake in stage 3, we will easily be able to win this race now, as it was pretty evident that we have the fastest car currently on the track as we would get ready to go green for the third and final stage here in Charlotte. Chase Briscoe there and Justin Haley would round out the top 3, as well as Jeremy Clements in P4 and Austin Cindric P5, and then you got Michael Lynette actually down in there who rounds out the top 10. Now as we're ready to go green for the third and final stage here in Charlotte, myself and Briscoe on the front row. We know we have the speed to win this race, but 13 laps to go. That's really the only thing that was a concern, because I know the longer the run goes, the higher the chance that we're going to get a caution and force overtime. Now as we came through on out of turns 2, you can see already we're able to stretch out the gap between myself and the AI on the restart, and we came through on lap 23 just 6 laps ago at this point, and we had driven away a little bit more from Chase Briscoe and the 98 cars that dived down into turns 1, so just hoping that at this point it was going to stay green as we came through out of turns 2, looking for win number 4 already in our rookie season in the Xfinity Series. Obviously, we had a great rookie season in the Truck Series, capping it off with a championship, multiple wins, like 4 or 5 wins we had in trucks, and we're already looking for win number 4 here in our rookie season, like I said, for the Xfinity Series. So we come through to start the final lap. It was not even a contest here in Charlotte. Once we got to the lead, we just drove away. No one could compete with us here as we dive down into turns 1 and 2 for the final time here in Charlotte now as we go down this back straightaway. Obviously, Dover, the last Xfinity race, did not go as we had hoped it would, as we picked up our first ever DNF in the career mode, which is unfortunate. Then we went and had a decent cup hot seat now as we came through out of turns 4 though, but we're going to cap it off perfectly here as we're going to come through to get win number 4 of the season in the Xfinity Series at Charlotte. Can't complain about that at all now, as that's beautiful to get win number 4 already on the season now, as we have gotten a lot of playoff points. We're still not actually up top on the actual overall points, but definitely, of course, in the playoff standings, we are going to be the first seed currently now, and I still think we can pick up another couple wins at least before the playoffs. We might be able to get a 5, 6, maybe even 7 win regular season if we keep going at this rate. Obviously, there's still a lot of time for things to go wrong for us here in the regular season, so who knows how it's going to go here in the future. But we're actually up to P5 in the points now with 23 playoff points, which is a little bit less than I thought we would have, but still can't complain about that at all. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. This one is a little bit shorter now, because we DNF'd in one of the races, and the cup hot seat was a throwaway, being Martinsville. But in the next one, we will start things off at Mid-Ohio, so that moves way up in the schedule now. So we're going to go road course racing here in the next episode, and we could maybe have a cup hot seat, I'm not sure yet, at Michigan, but we know we do have another cup hot seat coming up, and that should be in a 4-star car, maybe for like a Roush Fenway or something like that. I don't know what other teams are even 4 stars in this game. Maybe Chip Ganassi Racing. But I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.